Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Be a memory for your grandchildren. Among Nebraska adults age 65 or older, 47% report current alcohol use. Drinking too much can cause harm to children, family members, and loved ones. By drinking less, you will still be around for your grandchildren. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. The captain, Vershawn Jackson.
Mike Minner, what's up, bro?
When you look at Dylan, you're looking at quarterbacks that kind of come around once every 20 years. And this is a kid I'm looking at, I don't know how old he is, 17, 18 years old. And he is already directing things that 17, 18-year-old kids should not even know. Changing line protection. Okay, guys, I don't know what we've been 2 weeks of practice. Come on, man. Well, we got guys in the National Football League that can't do that.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Live from the heart of Lincoln, America. Welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Okay, we have generic music, Mike. This is The Finish Line. Welcome into The Finish Line on Sunday night at 7 o'clock. And I was just talking to Ben. I'm Rebecca Pearson. I am your host, along with Bree Fansteel, James Rowland, and our former co-host, Mike Melby.
How are you, Rebecca? I haven't seen you in a while.
I'm good. This is awesome to have you. I was hoping we would get a little crossover time with you.
Absolutely.
From your previous show, Husker Rewind.
Yep.
How'd that go?
Went well. Lots to talk about with spring game going on. You got Nebraska baseball down 4-1 in the bottom of the 8th. Nobody out. Softball, frustrating weekend. Final game of that series got canceled, but a lot of thoughts and prayers going out to anybody that was affected by the tornado.
Right.
Where I work full time is about a mile from Garner Industries. It was a little scary on Friday afternoon. We actually have employees that have video as the tornado hit it and hit the train, and then obviously up in the Elkhorn area. But we were not lacking for things to talk about. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
So.
Popular weekend. It was busy here yesterday at the station.
I can imagine. Yeah. Listening to Amir and Amon talk is just surreal.
Yeah.
Like two of the guys that are arguably could be on the Mount Rushmore, one of them guaranteed. Right. And I honest to God truth, I think Amir might be that fourth with Larry Phillips and Rozier. But listening to those two talk shop, I just chills.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
It was amazing. I was standing on the corner and we had Mike Rozier and Irving Fryer in for an event. And so they were here signing and I'm just out on the sidewalk chatting with them and their partners. And Amir just rolls up, he just some guy on the street, he rolls up and I'm like, okay, I know this guy, And so they're all standing out there and then Vershawn and Farley, everybody comes out there. We have like 10 celebrities out on the corner of 10th and O or 11th and O where our new studio is. And that's, it's exactly what we wanted here at this new studio. So that was kind of fun to see the vision all come to life. We had people coming up who wanted to sign autographs. We're here with the mill. People are able to get coffee. We had people drinking beer in the morning. So it was really it was the vision that was really fun for me and for DP.
Imagine.
Yeah. So here we are. This is our first Finish Line this season for 2024. And Mike has, begged off this year because he wants to be in a race car. And
I may not be in, but I will be turning a lot of wrenches and around. Yeah, no, Tyke Jensen and his. It was interesting. He wound up with some family stuff. Wound up back at a house, and his dad made it kind of a joke back in October, November, and said, "Man, this garage would look a lot." Really? And so here we are about 6 months later, and we've got the or spare chest. Sitting in my garage, and several pieces and parts, and a
and I come from asphalt. Not people who haven't enjoyed. I'm a co-owner here at the station. I'm DP's wife. For anybody that knows, in the later years at ExxonMobil.
he's more
And to DP as well, is to have a full breadth of sport. And bowling and wrestling, and of course we have football, and of course we have volleyball and basketball and baseball and all the things you would expect. But we really want to cover all the sports in this local area. And because my sport, if there was one, was racing. And even before I became responsible for the motorsports program at ExxonMobil, which I did, I was tracking my car personally and doing autocross and taking it to the tracks in the United States. And then I lived in Europe for 3 years, and so I had a chance to run some cars there. Now, I never officially raced. That wasn't my thing. I'm not competitive like that, but I definitely wanted to take my car on the track. And so I did lots of club preference. I love a technical course, which is why I like autocross as well, because, you know, it requires some finesse. Even though we can talk about NASCAR, we can talk about Formula One, you know, everybody has their opinion about those, dirt track, all those kinds of things. But for me, I really kind of like the challenge of a technical track. And so that really appealed to me. And I had never done that before. And then I got the opportunity at ExxonMobil to run the motorsports program. So that's a whole different deal. I was the global brand manager for Mobil 1 for years. I was the longest running brand manager. In fact, I created the position. As part of that, I ran the motorsports program, which included NASCAR and Formula One. And so if you really want to hone in on what the coolest part of that was, it's the stories I have to tell about Tony Stewart and Lewis Hamilton, who I hung out with a lot, and Kevin Harvick, who's still around, and the chances that I had at NASCAR and at Formula One to hang out with some of these guys and get to know them, but also to put together sponsorship programs, marketing programs, things like that. So that's kind of how I've been in and around motorsports, and it was important for us to make sure we cover all of that. And then last year, with Mike's help, we got it going. And
you know, the fun part about last year is when we put a bow on the season, it was a 4-hour live broadcast at Eagle for the Eagle Nationals. And I had people that have been in radio for as long as I have and longer. When I told them what the plan was, they said, there is no way you can pull that off. And I said, we have a hell of a team. We've got some people that are going to make sure we get drivers over there. And I'm pretty confident because we're going to have a little bit of help from Rashawn, Amon Green, Tom, Rebecca, Jake Bachhoven, and we did it, and it was amazing. It was one of the coolest experiences I've had in my 32 years in radio.
Right. That's cool. And it was fun. It was hot as all get out that day. So we have stories to tell.
Worth it.
And it'll probably be hot again because I think we're going to get out there. I've already been talking to Racing. Thank you, Racing, to help us get out there and do something similar to that. And, you know, people who don't have the experience, I think one of the things we can do here in the show and what we cover is, you know, what is it all about? There's a lifestyle that goes with racing that we all know. And you're nodding as if you want to say something. So.
I am, and the lifestyle of racing, and the young lady to my left lives that lifestyle of racing. James Rowland lives that lifestyle of racing. He grew up going to Eagle Raceway. He's now one of the announcers out there. Brianna, your dad kind of gets you into it. You just took it and ran. I remember you telling the story on this show last year about your dad's like, do you want a newer car or do you want a race car for your 16th birthday? And you went, it's a question you need to ask.
Yeah, I was like, I'm either going to get speeding tickets or I'm going to go out there and qualify for a B feature and have a lot of fun.
Exactly.
No speeding tickets.
So the memorable event of Bree, and we'll talk a lot more to both of these as the show goes on. But Bree fondly says, "I missed my prom so I could go racing." So what's the story behind missing your prom to go racing, Bree?
I don't know that there is one. I think it was mom asked, "Hey, you want to go prom dress shopping?" And I looked at my calendar and I was like, "Nope, we're racing at Eagle on that day."
There
and
you
she's
go.
like, "Are you kidding me?" And I'm like, "No, we're going racing." And so we did. And then I jokingly took pictures of like my shoes when I was getting ready. I was like, new prom heels, got those on. They're going to be so pretty and sparkly. And then like my suit, I was like, prom dress, love it. And it was kind of like a joke that went on that whole night. I thought it was kind of funny. And looking back, I'm like, dang, that's not something I could get back, but I'm not mad about it.
Right. Well, you had your priorities.
Yeah.
Right? Those were the choices. And I'm just imagining, did you attempt to get in the race car with the heels and the prom dress on just for fun?
No, I didn't even
my
have
goodness.
a prom dress.
They went fire suit shopping.
gonna
instead.
say-
Fire suit
The
shopping.
prom dress was the fire suit and the shoes were the racing shoes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, exactly. I think that's exactly how it goes. So.
100%.
Is Glitter SFI certified?
We don't need to talk about that.
Okay.
It'll be something we can look into, James. Yeah. So we might have to give you a fake prom just so you can say you actually went. That may be something we could do for
Maybe.
you this year. Yeah. And James, so you've got a little bit of a story. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
From as far back as I can remember, I was spending Friday nights and Saturday nights at the racetrack, whether it was watching my uncle race at Eagle or going to the races at Beatrice with my grandpa. And I guess I got to say, you should listen to your mom when you're young, because I always wanted to race. I tried it a little bit right out of high school. Wasn't very good at it. And growing up, my mom always said, well, why don't you try to be an announcer? Try to be an announcer. And of course, I didn't want to be an announcer. And now here I am announcing Friday nights at Beatrice and Saturday nights at Eagle. It just kind of came back full circle, getting soaked up into the lifestyle, whether it was driving cars, owning, sponsoring. I've worked bar back at a couple shows. Just any side of the fence I'm interested in being on and being around the people that make this such a great sport in the area.
Well, I think that's one of the things we could all tell our story about why we enjoy being in that environment. I mean, I loved driving. That thrill of driving is definitely there. But for me, also that camaraderie in the pits. And also after the end of a club day, nothing like a real race, but at the end of a club day, you're hot, you're sweaty, and that beer never tasted as good as the one you have after you've been in the car and all the clothes are stuck to you. And you just, you got sand in your shoes and all kinds of things going on, rubber under your nails, all that stuff. And it was really fun to go eat and have a beer with your friends. And that was not the highlight of the day, but it was one of them. And you're wanting to get in and back and around racing.
Yeah, with the new full-time job that I wound up with, my week is gone. I put in about 50 hours in 4 days, and it doesn't leave a lot of free time. And then I have a part-time job on top of that, trying to do Tom and I's show, and then trying to do the racing show, and then trying to go race for all of the pie that I had. And I had to say, I'm going to have to step back from something. And unfortunately, it wound up being radio for the summer. Flip side is I am so looking forward to that exact feeling. And for us, you know what? Tigers won a feature, right? In the past when he raced 360s. For us, we're not going to race on a weekly basis. Bottom line, we come home, we go from whether it's P20 to P19 in a feature, whether it's P8 to P3, we're on the podium, makes no difference. We roll the car on the trailer at the end of the night. It's not beat up. We're all greasy and dirty and sweaty and nasty. But we had a good time. That's life, man. That's what I grew up with from way back when I was helping Tig's dad, Lonnie Jensen. I'd chip in every way I could, all the way to when I was helping Regan Kitchen when he was driving for Ivan, or after he left driving for Ivan Tracy, and just being around it. That smell, that first of the year smell when you start motor heat of methanol, the way it burns your eyes, there's nothing like it.
Right. Exactly.
And so, yeah, just excited to get back and hang out and get dirty and play in the dirt and get all greasy. So
Oh, it is fun. Yeah. And there's some kind of appeal of beating the clock and making sure you get the car out on time, get the tires on. If you've got one of these wrecks where you've got to change in between heats or any of these things, the pressure is on, but there's some satisfaction about being able to fix it, tweak it, duct tape it or whatever and get back out there. So
Well-
Bree, what do you remember?
Well, it's like you have this adrenaline rush when you're in the car. You got 8 laps to make something happen in your heat race. Hoping you don't wreck, hoping you made the right changes, but you've also got this adrenaline rush like when you're in the pits to make sure that you're doing the right thing. Did you tighten all the bolts when you changed your shocks? Do you have the right amount of fuel in there? Did you remember to fill up so you're still at your same scale weight? Like there's so much riding on it, and I think it's so fun. Even if you just pass one car, or let's say, like you're saying, maybe you finish in the same exact spot, but you're able to roll your car back on the trailer. Like at the end of the day, sometimes you just got to step back and look and be like, dang, I did that. Like
Right.
me and my guys, we spent countless hours in the garage and we built that.
Right.
That's crazy. That
Right.
is so crazy. And I feel like there's so much around like social media and the hype. Like I'll make my reels and I have fun with it, but what are we really doing this for? What are we really doing? And it's like, guys, we're making race cars. That is wild. Like second grade me would be going bananas right now.
Right.
So I don't know. I love it.
Second grade, you did not imagine you'd be in a race car.
Oh no, second grade me thought I was going to be on Broadway. And like
And
a
the
little
heels
pink
in a prom
toupee.
dress.
Yeah, the heels in the prom dress.
Whatever happened with that?
to your point about all the bolts are tight, et cetera, et cetera. I was the announcer guy helping Regan, right? And then when Tig drove for Ivan Tracy back in 2018, Ivan touched the car and did all the maintenance. So this was the first time I was involved in, I was helping put the motor in. I was helping putting fuel lines in. I put the nozzles in, help put the rear end in. I put the gears in the car. And I'm sitting on the four-wheeler about ready to push Tig out on practice night for his first set of hot laps. I almost had a panic attack. I'm not kidding, because I'm like, okay, big gears on top. Yeah, it was. Okay, were the numbers out? I think they were.
I do that,
did
but
I
while I'm in the
flip 'em around?
cockpit
Yeah.
and it's too late.
And then I was like, okay, well, I put the front tires on. I know I tightened the bolts up on them last night, but did I retighten them before? I don't have
Yeah.
time to go back and check.
Nope.
Oh, no.
Right.
You'll find out when you hit the gas.
I was almost ready to throw up. And then as soon as he made one lap, I literally took my first breath in like 4 or 5 minutes.
But that first breath felt so good.
Oh,
didn't
did it ever?
Well, and that feeling when you hit the first turn, you're like, okay, if everything's together, it'll probably hang through the first turn.
We made it out alive.
right.
All right, we're good.
First turn, and then maybe that last one when you hit the berm or whatever at the top, and you're like, okay, I think we got it. Let's see if we can do 6 or 7 more.
Yeah.
So you make me laugh with 8 laps because, if you're talking NASCAR or Formula One, right, you're either at 40 or 50 in Formula One or several hundred in NASCAR. So what is it the appeal of just having it all be over with in 8 laps, or is this like super competition to try to get something done in such a short period of time?
I think it's having to get something done in such a short period of time. Sometimes it's nice though, because when you've horribly missed the setup, you're like, all right, I only have 7 more laps of this torture,
Right.
and then I can go back, fix it, and
Fix
see
it.
if we can make something better.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just all go with it, and it's sometimes we try to get up there to the grid a little earlier to see what other cars are doing on the track. Like, has somebody found something that the others aren't finding? Because you might have a follow the leader depending on what track you're at, and then somebody sends it in on the bottom, or they send it up high, and it either works or it really doesn't work. So
Right.
it's who can figure out what fastest in your heat race. And it's also when you get to the point system, let's say you finish higher up in the A feature of the week before, then you're starting further back in the heat race,
Right.
obviously, because it would be boring if the fast guys started up front. So then trying to work your way through the pack and seeing what everybody's doing. You don't know if they have mechanical problems as well. Maybe their car's pushing and going from the bottom to the top in like 2 feet. Who knows? But it's 8 laps. A lot of work.
Do you have any in-car adjustments that you can make on the sport mods?
For me, I just have a brake bias adjuster.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I
Just
can
curious.
so with that, what you do is you can change how much pressure is on your front brakes or on your rear brakes. So if we've got like, let's say a tacky track like it was last week, everybody was going rear brake, because you're going to try to set it in the corner, hit your brake, hope the rear end pops out and you can slide through and then
Yeah.
drive off.
So we'll talk a lot more about some of the in-car things that you notice, what it's like to compete. I think, James, from your perspective, you're up in the box looking at this race. What are you thinking when you're up there? What are you doing? How do you manage your time? What are you looking at?
Dan Taylor and I have a really good relationship up in the booth of kind of rocking back and forth lap for lap. So Dan will be on, say he's talking about the battle for the lead. So I'm back looking in third on back, looking for battles throughout. So I can jump in with something if it comes up, or when my lap comes around, I can, hey, you're talking about this battle. Here's what's going on for third and fourth back in the pack. So it's just constantly watching the race and the track develop from the start of the night to the drop of the checkered, and trying to keep everybody informed.
Right. And it's hard to watch everything. And you've got a tiny little track. You have to think about the announcers and the spotters and some of these other series. There's a lot going on. So that's maybe a good segue into how we're going to cover racing for the rest of the season, is that we really want to bring you a wide variety of experiences. If you're a fan and you're listening, then you're going to love hearing kind of the inside scoop of what it's like, whether you're in the box, you're turning wrenches, you're on the track, you're running sponsorship programs, which, I have a lot of experience with. Whatever that is, we want to bring you a wide variety of interviews with people in the business so that you can understand that. And of course, if you're a racer, we want to hear your stories. And here at the Ticket, we have a text line. We also have YouTube. So one of the things I didn't mention, if you're just getting oriented to following the motorsports show here, The Finish Line, you can download our app. We're in car, of course, but we're on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Twitter. You can text in comments on YouTube or the hotline, which is 402-464-5685. So feel free to call in. We want people to be a part of the show. We're going to get to know our hosts here for the rest of the time. We're going to let Mike Melby go off into the sunset, but maybe we'll get you and Tig back when you're ready to kind of tell us what it's been like. So maybe, Ben, you take us to a break, and we'll bring folks back to talk a little bit more with Bree and James, and a promise from Mike that he'll rejoin us here sometime in the season.
Absolutely.
We'll be right back with The Finish Line, 93.7 The Ticket.
At Doane University, we build leaders, and that means your success and achievements come first.
At Doane University, your future is uniquely yours, and our world-class liberal arts education is just the beginning.
We invite you to schedule your campus visit and experience why Doane University will start you on your journey to your future career.
Learn more by scheduling your personal campus visit today at doane.edu/visit. See you soon.
Hey, Nebraska! Register today for the 40th annual Cornhusker State Games, taking place July 11th through the 21st in Lincoln, Omaha, and other Nebraska communities. The Cornhusker State Games features 70 sports for athletes of all ages and abilities. Price increases are approaching, so register early and save. For details, go to cornhuskerstategames.com. If you've experienced a sports injury, joint or back pain, trust your care to Nebraska Orthopedic Center, a proud platinum partner of the Cornhusker State Games.
Hey guys, it's Bill Bush. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty has opened a new location in Pender, Nebraska, in addition to their office in Lincoln. The real estate world can be confusing, so why wouldn't you want an expert helping you every step of the way? If you're looking to buy or sell farmland in Nebraska, Kansas, or Iowa, give Ethan Sorensen a call today at 402-380-0432 or visit them online at nextagrealestate.com. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty with locations in Lincoln and now Pender, Nebraska.
The Red White Spring Game is coming soon. Do you know your tailgate meal for before and after the game? Führer's Cheese Spread is the dip that brings everyone together to celebrate something for all Nebraskans, made in Nebraska. And it goes well with crackers, meats, soups, and more. How could you tailgate without it? Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Führer's Cheese Spread. No spring game party or tailgate is complete without it. Spring in Nebraska brings green grass and warmer weather, but it also brings severe storms which can cause damage to your home. Meadowlark Exterior specializes in hail, storm, and wind damage restoration, as well as roofing, siding, and gutters for commercial or residential buildings. Meadowlark Exteriors focuses on fine craftsmanship and proves that in their attention to detail. They offer free roof inspections and estimates and insurance claim assistance, serving the Lincoln and Omaha surrounding areas. Call today at 402-875-2956 or go to meadowlarkexteriors.com.
Now's the time to schedule your air conditioner service check with Bryant. Make sure it's ready to keep you cool and comfortable when you really need it. Call Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating, 467-1111.
Gary with Gary Michaels Clothiers Lincoln. I'm here to tell you about our custom shirt program. When you come into the store, we measure your chest, mid-waist, and sleeve length. Enter the measurements in an app, and we create your data fit size. You then try on one of our 99 data fit shirts for the proper fit. After that, pick out the fabric, collar, cuff, placket, and in roughly 2 weeks, your shirts are delivered at the same cost of buying off the rack. And by the way, the neck fits too. Gary Michaels Custom Shirts at 56th and Pine Lake Road, Lincoln.
On the block with Strick and Austin.
When you're in New York, Nick, in New York, I mean, you're talking about, you see mafioso types. You go into a restaurant and you would literally eat. Hey, come on over here. You know, they you know, I don't know how to say it. I don't got the accent, but they would say, come, Strick, come here, come over. Have a drink on me. And what are you going to do? Say no?
You not say
you
no
don't
to that?
say no to the drink. You don't say no.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Coach Bill Bush. You all know my passion for Nebraska. Having coached all over the country, I can honestly say there is no place like Nebraska. You know where there's also no place like? Midwest Bank. Midwest Bank has proudly served Nebraska for over 70 years, and they're located in 9 different communities. Midwest Bank is ready, willing, and able to meet all your personal, business, and agriculture needs. Your community, your bank, and mine, Midwest Bank. Find out more at Midwest Bank. Member FDIC.
Road construction is complete, so there's nothing keeping you from getting into Mullen Motors. They can get you into a new vehicle right now and get your 2024 started off the right way. They cleared off their 2023 inventory and have tons of new vehicles to choose from to make sure you get to where you need to be this year. Out with the old and in with the new. Stop by Mullen Motors today, just north of 48th and Layton in Lincoln.
No tagline, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Back to The Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Here we are. You got me, Ben? All right, here we are. Coming back to the finish line. This is Ticket Weekends and Weeknights. This is the finish line with Rebecca Pearson. That is me, Bree Fansteel, and James Rowland. And we just let Mike Melby go. That was fun to hear from him since he kind of carried us last year getting this show off the ground. And now we get a chance to spend a little more time with the two of you. But before I do that, I want to give a shout out to Eagle Motorsports, Mike Boston's company, who sponsors the first part of this show, the first segment of the show. And Mike, if you don't know Mike, he's a veteran at Eagle Raceway, in car number 51, and we'll have him on this year, of course. But he is a master welder. He is well known for making chassis for sprint cars, and he gets a lot of shout outs from his folks. So I was kind of trolling around today looking at his Facebook, which is kind of interesting because, you know, you find out where the real rubber meets the road when you get someone who gives you a shout out on Facebook. And something Mike will tell you that is very important to him is the detail associated with putting together his chassis. And you know, because he's he's a veteran. He's won like 8 times at Eagle, right, in the overall series. But one of his customers said, "I would put Mike Weld's attention to detail up against anyone in the industry." So that's quite something.
That's one heck of a compliment.
That's a heck of a compliment because, you know, we're here in Lincoln, Nebraska. This is not something you'd think of. But when Mike bought Eagle Motorsports and the chassis a couple of years ago, when they decided to change hands, you know, they have been supplying chassis all over the country for major sprint competitors. So shout out to Mike, and we'll be talking to him soon. Thanks for supporting the show. So let's talk a little bit about you, Bree. And you can start from second grade or kindergarten or the womb or wherever you'd like. But, you know, tell us how you got here.
How I got here. Well, thank you, Mom. First of all, you did a great job on June 26th. No. So I guess I was kind of thinking back about it because I figured this was a question that would come up. I started off, like I said, the little Broadway comment. I was a ballerina.
Okay.
But I was also competitive, and I saw my older brother. He's about 6 years older than me. Him and his friends and my dad, they built this square tube death trap of a yard cart.
Sweet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I'm looking at it. I'm like, that looks dumb. but why are you having so much fun? And so I'd bug them, and they'd let me go take it out and putt around with them out in the commons area behind the house. Didn't think too much of it. Mom had something going on one night, and so Dad got stuck with me, and I went out to the go-kart track out in Wavelink Race Park, I believe it was. And actually, we're going to be interviewing a guest next week who's out there, and I made best friends with her little sister, and started watching, eating a bunch of nachos. And then one night I got in my brother's go-kart, stupid slow in it. But I got out, and Dad had to help get me out of this cart. Mind you, there's no roll bars or anything. I just had to pull myself up and step out of it. And I was so dizzy, I almost fell over. But it was like this bug just bit me out of nowhere, and I needed to get back in. And I needed to see if I can go faster. And it just kept going on like that. It's just like, how can I get better? How can I get better? And so I was in dirt flat carts on circle tracks around the Nebraska area for 7 or so years. Got out of that, got into a sport modified when I was 16 going on 17. And that was, my dad had found an old, I don't know if it was a Nova or a Dart or something. And he's like, do you want to work on this and restore this together, or we can get you started in a race car? And like I said earlier, it's like, I need to be in a race car. I will get speeding tickets if I am in something on the street. And so we got into an old square tube Sartison. I think it was like a 2001 chassis. And it was a tank. She was heavy. But I had so much fun in it. And it was like getting into a new class. The bug bit me all over again. And I found a new love and new passion for it. And I've been racing ever since. Just this year, I finally took over, and I own our whole team. I own the whole car. And so making decisions with my crew, being involved with scaling and setup, and learning all the ins and outs of it, trying to build some of the drivetrain alongside my dad. He's definitely been a huge help through this. It's been a huge learning curve, but now that I'm involved in setup and everything else, I've got that bug biting me again. And so I'm really excited to see what happens this year. I think there's a lot of data that needs to be taken in, but I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Right, because you have a new car this season versus last year.
Yep.
So what's different, without giving away your secrets, what's different about the car this year?
I will say nothing.
Nothing.
Just kidding. No, whenever you change chassis, because usually chassis builders are in different locations, so they'll build to tracks around them because that's where they can get their data to, which is perfectly fine. But whenever you change, you can't necessarily do all of the same things. You can base wise, but if you want to go fast and be competitive, you need to really learn what the car actually wants. And so the car I have now, it's got a lot of great things about it, but I don't know exactly what to feed it yet. And so that's where this past weekend with the rainouts and everything, the chassis builder I'm with, he stayed up till midnight on Messenger with me, and I'm like, help, I'm doing this. This is my numbers. Here's where it's going. He's like, okay, let's try this. And so we annotated all that data. So it was a bummer that the races got canceled this weekend, because I was really excited to see how it was going to respond.
And how do you generate your numbers in that test scenario? What are you doing to generate those numbers?
I should be using a load stick. For anybody who races knows that that's probably a good idea. But
You
I'm
wanna
not.
tell non-racers what a load stick is.
I don't know much about them. I said, oh,
How
that's
does it
too much
work?
money. Next. No, what I do is I just use scales and like a tape measure or like a level or an angle finder, sorry. And so what I was doing is I was finding what my rear percentages were between the two. So the right rear and the left rear, what weights on them, find the percentage of them together or the difference between them. And then I was finding like my left side percentage. I realized that didn't make a difference. So that was a fun learning curve. And then I was looking at, if I took a chunk of lead and I moved it to the left, what was it doing? And I wrote it all down after I took all my measurements. And then I scooted it over a couple feet, wrote my measurements, and took everything. And then I moved it forward and I moved it down, and then I moved it back up, and then I put it over on the right side, and then I put it on the left side. And that's why it took 4 hours to get all the data we did. But it's very, very interesting. So I'm super excited.
Yeah, super scientific. It's one of the things I like about racing is there is a lot of science to
There's
it. You know,
so much involved that, like, when I first started out, I'll be honest, I was a 16-year-old girl. Like, I loved racing and I liked working on it, but I didn't know necessarily why I was doing the things I was doing. When Dad's like, "Hey, put this bar here, do this here," and I'm like, okay, zap, 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 zap. But now seeing why things are happening the way they are it's crazy.
Right.
So I can't wait to get back in it now. I'm waiting for next week.
Right. So, James, you don't know, as a fan, you don't know all this stuff is going on, right? And the fan experience is completely different, and you live and breathe that. So, what can you tell us about the fan experience?
I know that drivers and crew have to do a whole lot more math than fans and announcers do. I mean,
so much math.
I've been around the putting them together part and trying to make them work part, and I'm not the greatest at that. I'm way better at watching them.
What do you like about, so you went to the track, you told, right? You were going to the track as a young man, and then somehow you got sucked in, and then you're announcing. So when you were going to the track as a fan, what was it that appealed to you?
Like Melby was talking about earlier, the smell of methanol, the people that surround the entire sport, from drivers to other fans, people in the parking lot that you might see passed out. I mean, you never know exactly what you're going to see when you roll into the racetrack. Oh, there's plenty of stories. I might have been that guy a time or two
Oh my goodness.
in my younger days.
Mm-hmm. So tell us about, talk a little bit about Eagle. You know Eagle very well. You also announce at Beatrice, correct?
Yes.
Yes. So tell us about the tracks and what the fans do. What have you witnessed? I mean, there's a huge RV park out there. You have a ton of fans, whether it's rainy or hot.
Don't bring up the RV.
Tell us what it's like out there. For people who haven't been to Eagle, we want to get them excited about going to visit.
So I guess I'll start with, before I started doing the whole announcing thing, I sold out of my racing operation in 2016 when I bought a house, and I bought a boat because I thought that would be cheaper. Fast forward a year, it wasn't. So I kind of just started going back out to the racetrack just to hang out with friends. Great food, cold drinks. The atmosphere is just incredible. Eagle has like a 10,000 watt sound system, and they are not afraid to use it. So it's kind of like a nightclub where a racetrack breaks out every Saturday.
It's awesome.
Exactly.
And when do they show up, James? So for a Saturday night with Eagle or Beatrice, right? When do they show up?
Diehards, you can find diehards there as early as like 12 o'clock. Since Rick Gropp retired, we don't have anybody showing up at noon anymore. But at about 2 o'clock is really when the party gets to kicking off. The casual fans and everybody that rolls into the grandstands, you can find them out there tailgating as early as 3 for a 5:30 gate open. Now, Beatrice is a little bit different. You've got the track's located on the Gage County Fairgrounds, so you definitely do get that classic county fair vibes. There's horse barns and all kinds of different stuff going on around there. It's honestly, I like it because it's kind of laid back in comparison. You've got a little bit more time in between races. You can breathe a little bit more, but the fans are just as die hard.
Mm-hmm. So do you have a good story about, not about yourself, but maybe a fan that you have seen do something extra special that we should all know about?
Oh man, I hope he's tuning in tonight. It was either 2019 or 2020. I was doing the pit reporting stuff, and at Eagle, we get a little crazy with intermission activities.
Oh my goodness.
Well, that night, I believe Coors Light was bringing you the intermission challenge, and it was like an obstacle course. You had to hula hoop, and you had to jump rope. You had to do this and that. Well, one of the requirements was a dizzy bat and chugging a beer.
Uh-oh.
And the guy chugged the beer like a champion. I'm not a chugger. I'm a beer drinker, but I am not a chugger. This guy was a pioneer when it came to the chugging game.
Not his first rodeo.
Not his first rodeo, but it might have been his first dizzy bat.
Ooh.
Because he dizzy batted. And for those of you that have been to Eagle, you know that there's the fence at the front edge of the grandstand. Well, he fell through the bottom of that fence about 6 foot down onto the grass.
No.
And not a week goes by at Eagle Raceway when I don't hear from the landing at the bottom of the booth, "You remember that time I fell through the fence?" And absolutely I do. I never remember his name. I'm so sorry, but I talk to him every single week.
Awesome. Okay. Well, if you are listening, Mr. Dizzy Bat Chugger, make sure you text us or call us, or hopefully if somebody knows who that gentleman is, that he tells them to listen so we can hear from him.
I don't know if he's appropriate for the phone line, but definitely shoot us a text.
We can do a text because we can edit that. So Ben,
that's true.
Ben would be all on it.
We got a question on text line.
Excellent.
Says Chris here, Bree, you're
Dang
a
it.
natural. What would be the best way for someone to actually start dirt track racing?
Best way to start dirt track racing. I think a lot of people would tell you, well, go buy something used, go do this. Best way to start is just go there and see what it's like. There's so many of us out there that if a random person comes up to our pit and starts asking questions, we will answer those questions. So if anybody's looking to get in, just go get yourself a pit pass. They're not too bad. And then you're actually in there with the racers, watching them work on their cars, because you want to know what you're getting yourself into. You don't want to spend thousands of dollars and then realize, oh boy, this is going to be bad. So I would say show up to a race. Anybody can get in the pits. You got to be I think like 19 or older, and 14 to 18 with a minor's release form.
Yep.
Watch where you're going, obviously, but just go up. And if you see me out at Eagle, just come say hi, and I'll answer any questions you have. But it's good to just kind of expose yourself to the atmosphere. Another thing you can do, because you're like, well, Bree, we're not racing until this weekend. Get on Facebook and start looking at. There's different. What is it like? Iowa, who won? I don't know. There's different Facebook groups. Just start typing in what class you're looking for and find different forums you can go on. That'd be my biggest suggestion.
Yeah, I think
there is just get exposed first.
Yeah, and finding a group, I think, is a great way. And I don't know what the equivalent is in dirt track, but when you are on asphalt, you can take your streetcar to a track. So, Hastings is on my list here to get up to. It's maybe a little bit easier if you're into doing something on asphalt, because you can take your streetcar and either go run at the airport here when the autocross is here with SCCA, or you can go to a road course club event and literally drive around the track 40 miles an hour if that's what you want to do to kind of get a feel for it. So, but that's how you get hooked. Let me tell you, right? I have a similar story. I was like, oh yeah, toodaloo, take my M3 up on the, Road Atlanta, which is in Georgia, which is an amazing road course track for anybody who knows that. And I was hooked. After that, I was like, oh my, yes, this is going to be fun. So, but definitely expensive.
Yeah.
So,
well, and I was just now thinking of it. I know at US 30 Speedway, they're starting up a Crown Vic class.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
very, very affordable to get into. And they're, at least last year, I know at one point they were letting fans after the races go and get into the car and drive it around the track.
and there are options to do that. And of course, a lot of people start in karting for dirt
Yeah.
tracks. So
Oh, yeah.
maybe when we come back from a break, maybe we'll talk a little bit more about that. And then we'll kind of try to do a rundown of the different types of cars that are
Yeah.
out there and the little bit of race roundup we can do, because there wasn't a lot of racing this
Not a ton.
weekend because of all the rain. So anyway, with that, let's take a break. This is the Finish Line 93.7 The Ticket. We'll be right back.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service, bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
There's more time to save big at Bonzall Pool and Spa with their extended Double the Savings sales event. Now through April 30th, buyers can take advantage of up to $1,500 in savings when they purchase a new hot spring spa. Visit the Bonzall Pool and Spa showroom at 33rd and Pioneers or visit their website at www.bonzallpool.com to learn more about this hot sale. Act now because this offer ends April 30th. Bonzall Pool and Spa, every day made better.
Load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's special through April 30th is buy one, get one free on New York strips, limit 4 per visit. Also 15% off koozie chips and nuts. And don't forget about lunch on Fired Up Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Locations at 84th and Havelock and 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Hey, Nebraska! Register today for the 40th Annual Cornhusker State Games, taking place July 11th through the 21st in Lincoln, Omaha, and other Nebraska communities. The Cornhusker State Games features 70 sports for athletes of all ages and abilities. Price increases are approaching, so register early and save. For details, go to CornhuskerStateGames.com. If you've experienced a sports injury, joint, or back pain, trust your care to Nebraska Orthopedic Center, a proud platinum partner of the Cornhusker State Games.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up. Hold up. The new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh yeah, this is a game changer.
Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
Although we can't control the air we breathe outside our home, we can make a healthy difference inside. And all it takes is a call to Bryant. With healthy air options, Bryant can help you eliminate allergens, odors, and harmful chemicals, all while controlling indoor humidity levels at the same time. If it's time for a breath of fresh air inside, it's time to call Bryant. Breathe easy, breathe healthy. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. We do whatever it takes.
High schoolers, unleash your creativity and learn about potential careers in broadcasting at the Digital Expressions Media Camp. Have fun, make friends, and get hands-on experience with video and radio production June 9th through the 14th at the University of Nebraska at Kearney. Scholarships are available from the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and spots are limited. Learn more at digitalexpressionscamp.com. That's digitalexpressionscamp.com.
Community means something different to everyone. But for me, it means cheering on those around you during the good times and helping them out during the tough times. I'm softball player Jordy Ball, and I've been blessed with the support of my friends, family, coaches, and community throughout my life. When looking for a bank to call home, it was easy to choose Midwest Bank. I never feel like just another customer, and they're proud to support their communities. They love what they do, and it shows. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
Nobody goes to McDonald's more than you. Nobody.
No,
every meal,
I agree
every
with that.
I mean, don't go every meal.
Every morning you're there.
Every morning goes to McDonald's
every single
day.
I do it. Oh, I go every day.
Is it?
Yeah,
How many
that's what I
times?
mean. That's a lot.
How many?
Sometimes
I'm
twice
saying in the next year I go 9 times. I
That's
go
high
9.
for me. I'm not going 9
Oh,
times
I mean,
to
7
McDonald's.
times
Yeah.
a week. 7 times a week.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of
Every
times
day.
though you go more than once a day.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, so I'm telling you. So it's
But I just
500.
get coffee.
But you go 500 times a year. That's a lot. Of times a year. The most I'm at is 9. I'm at 9. Jake's at 4, and you're at 500.
I say 4 to 5 for myself.
So I said 9. You said 500.
Put it that way.
It is. Just do the math.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket. Back to The Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Oh, you're good.
All right, here we go. Welcome back to the finish line. This is our final segment. We are super excited about this new show with Bree and James. And Ben Droz is behind the wheel, and Ben's been keeping us honest and reading comments. And I understand that we have a interesting comment you must read about racing on asphalt and pavement. So please share.
Oh, yeah. Carla Johnson on the Facebook stream said, "We're all here for dirt track racing. Asphalt is for getting to the track."
And this is the tension I love in the racing community, right? Because my first response, Carla, was, well, you haven't been on a pavement asphalt track. I haven't been on a dirt track, so you can say the same thing about me. So we were having this conversation about we need to get in each other's shoes because racing's racing, and I'm pretty sure we'd all love all of it. But I love the comment because it's the great debate, right? Now, we also had a question, didn't we, Ben?
Yeah, we got a couple questions. We're trying to get to them.
Let's fire away.
Yeah, first question on YouTube. Josh Harris asked, and this is for James, what has been the difference between going from a track reporter to now being in the booth?
The smart Alec in me wants to say, well, Josh, if you'd get to the racetrack, you'd know this. But for me, the biggest difference is being in the booth, you get to watch a lot more of the action. When you're trapped down in the infield, I kind of had to keep my focus on the top four and any action that was going on throughout the track. But from the infield, you're literally spinning in a circle the entire time and trying to keep focus on everything. And you've got to think up questions for interviews and everything like that. And then making the transition to the booth for me, for those that know me, I don't exactly see the greatest. I might be the only legally blind person doing race announcing in the country. But the biggest change for going to the booth is just the constant go, go, go. There's not a lot of downtime in there, whether you've got a caution, whether you're waiting on the next race to roll out. You're constantly forward thinking to get through as the evening goes on, and you're never able to take your eye off of something. It's always a look, and it's always thinking ahead.
Great answer. And I think, welcome. We hope you guys will come out to the track if you haven't been. Eagle didn't race this weekend because of the rain. And maybe before we take our next question, which I understand we have at least we have a few more here, maybe Bree, you just kind of do a little short roundup of dirt track racing.
Yeah, I was super stoked for this, and then I guess Mother Nature had other plans. It was like the weekend the dirt tracks all stood still. I mean, our local tracks, Eagle Raceway, was supposed to have their first race of the season. That got canceled due to the weather. US 30 Speedway, we got Off-Road, Beatrice, Junction Motor. I mean, everywhere around, even Boone out in Iowa. I think that's like 3.5 hour drive.
Yep.
That canceled too.
Yeah.
And usually you can find somewhere within like a 3 to 4 hour radius when one rains out. So it was crazy. We just kind of twiddled our thumbs. I went and looked, and World of Outlaws, both the sprint cars and the late models, they were rained out too. And I think all the racers around here were just like, what do we do?
What do we do? I
What
know.
do we do?
Right. Get on esports and do iRacing.
Yeah, right. The last high limit sprint car race was Tuesday. It looked like at Riverside International Speedway, where Corey Day took home the checkers and a hefty $20,000 check, followed by Tanner Thorson and Tyler Courtney. So
nice purse. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one for dirt track in particular. So yeah. And James, I understand you like to watch NASCAR. So what happened today? Anything?
I just try to stay up to date on as much racing as possible. Working second shift, I honestly listen to a lot more racing than I get to watch.
Mm-hmm.
But as a broadcaster, that always kind of helps you keep your chops fresh too. Yeah, unfortunately, throughout the local area, it seems like anywhere within about 200 miles, Mother Nature won out for the weekend. So the lucky guys over the weekend was the NTT IndyCar Series and the NASCAR Xfinity and Cup Series. Scott McLaughlin picked up the win in the IndyCar Series. Second place was Will Power. Third, Linus Lundqvist. Fourth, Felix Rosenquist. And 5 to Alex Palou. I hope I'm pronouncing all those right, because I'm not exactly the most in tune with the IndyCar stuff outside of the month of May, which is fast approaching.
now we do have an IndyCar tech who will be on, and
we do.
I think so.
Oh,
I'll
we're
have to
teasing
double
guests
check,
already.
but
Yeah.
oopsies.
Oh, it's
Spoiler
all right.
alert.
No, yeah.
No,
Cat's out of the bag.
I'm very excited for that one. I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
Do you want to drop a couple other teasers? Because you have been
Yes.
super busy. So has James. We all are putting together an amazing season for you.
Yeah, no. So our first guest next week will be local celebrity
Oh.
Shaylee Bade. How she
Nice.
went from mud to mom and then back again. Like she's juggling both, and her son is he's so adorable.
Oh,
and
we're
he's
going to get a
such hoot.
sighting. Is he coming with? We've had some
We
kids
can
in
see.
here.
Maybe.
How old is her son?
Oh, don't be mad at me, Shaylee.
Oh.
I
no,
think
okay.
he's like a little over 2.
Okay, well that
Ish.
might be interesting.
He's
he's
adorable.
I got a trivia question you guys might use
do
during the
it.
week, and it's going to be kind of a deep dive. I don't know that either of you will get it. Bree might,
Uh-oh.
but our guest next week, another sprint car driver from the area, and myself all share a birthday.
What?
Yeah, I'm still not ready. You're going to be the one to name drop
gonna
this
look-
guest for next week.
I'm gonna look in my bio and see what date that was.
Oh, joke's on you. I didn't put my birthday in there. Then you know
darn
I'm old.
Rude. How are we supposed to
I
stalk you?
know. Okay, well, we could start at January 1st and we have 365 guests.
Work your way around. It's somewhere right in the middle.
All right, sometime in July, let's say. All right, so we're
Good
going to
guess.
keep that for our trivia. All right, so we got the month right. Okay, we have another question, Ben.
Yeah, well, first we got a comment saying from Nancy on the Facebook stream saying to wear a prom dress to the class on Tuesday.
I love it.
Oh, Nancy. That's one of my gym goers.
Nice.
If you do 100 burpees in
Ooh.
2 minutes,
You need
I
to
will
drop.
walk in a bright green fluffy dress.
I
Not
like
sure it'll fit, so I don't know what the situation is going to be there. It might be on my arm. I don't know. I was very skinny in high school. Yeah, we could do that.
I definitely think we're going to have some kind of incentive to get you in the prom dress, in the heels, climbing into
My
the
friend's
squat
got
pod.
a wedding coming up.
There
and I
you
told her she's
go.
the only person I'm wearing pink and purple for.
Just because I feel like it's an accomplishment you need to have, since you didn't actually go to the prom, at least you could put the dress in and
that's-
show everybody how you could do that.
I'll do this. If
Okay.
we have 50 people comment on this video, 50 people
There we
on this
go.
video
We probably already got that.
I think we do too.
that
All right,
says
listeners.
no prom, no problem. 50 people, no prom, no problem. I will wear a prom dress at some point during the show.
Okay.
You know,
All right.
All right, you hear that, everybody?
the last time I wore a prom dress, we had to raise $1,000 for charity in
Oh,
a
that's
span
way
of
better.
24
Can we
hours.
add that on?
Okay.
Add that on.
Now
Oh.
the competition is on. Who do we
Oh.
want in a prom
James-
dress more? James
Oh,
Rowland
no.
or Bree Fansteel?
Oh, heck yeah. I'm
and
down
I'm
for
not
that.
part of this, but if you want to throw me and Ben in, we
Oh,
could
yeah.
be. But I'm pretty sure the
Ben,
competition.
I see you right now.
out of this.
No,
Ben's a
I
purple.
got
I
a
can see
vision.
it.
Mike
Yeah.
Peterson, you owe me.
One last question we're gonna get to on the show. They asked Bree, if your number wasn't 33, what would it be and why?
Ooh, that's a good one. Well, the reason my number is 33 is, again, thanks, Mom. She calls me Bumblebee 33. And she did that when
Ooh,
I was
I like
younger.
it.
We painted my
Bumblebee.
go-kart like a bumblebee. If it
All
wasn't
right.
33,
We're
what
gonna
would it
use
be
that
and why?
All right. Well, there's something maybe for you to think about.
11, maybe? I don't know.
You have a lucky number?
I just like
Play
double
lottery?
numbers. My
Double
brother's
numbers.
my brother's number was 22.
There's a lot of people commenting no prom, no prom
Oh,
now.
how many?
Oh,
How
all
many?
right.
Can we put a
let's do
time
it.
mark on this?
I know you-
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Oh
7,
my.
8
All right,
so
keep
far.
it going
We
before
already got
before 8 o'clock.
Is
Before
Deb
8.
in the mall still open? Is that still a
Before
thing?
8
We already
o'clock.
got
Tell
eight.
all your
gosh.
friends. I'm loving it. You've got until
Oh
8
my
o'clock. Because this
What did I
show,
do?
even though we're going to have to take us out, probably, Ben, for some breaks before the 8 o'clock with Ricky Simmons, which, by the way, stay on and listen to Ricky Simmons and Randy Goodwin, who is a producer and director
Yep.
in Omaha. He's an amazing individual. He has some great news about what Nebraska's going to do to support the production film business in Nebraska. So I'm loving it. All right, keep going. If we get 50 comments by 8 o'clock,
Don't do it.
it's
Don't do
James and Bree in prom dresses. I'm loving it.
Whoa.
Oh, now we're
I
doing
was
not
not
even
part of
battling.
this.
We are the finish line. Rebecca Pearson, Bree Fansteel, James Rowland. Awesome first show. Join us next Sunday at 7 p.m. for the finish line.
We out till next week.
The captain, Vershawn Jackson.
Mike Minner, what's up, bro?
When you look at Dylan, you're looking at quarterbacks that kind of come around once every 20 years. And this is a kid I'm looking at, I don't know how old he is, 17, 18 years old. And he is already directing things that 17, 18-year-old kids should not even know. Changing the line protection. Okay, guys, I don't know what we've been 2 weeks of practice. Come on, man. Well, we got guys in the National Football League that can't do that.
Vershawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price